Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
You're listening to the man who's been called the Obi-Wan Kenobi of small business.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Jim Blasingame, the Small Business Advocate.
Welcome back, 34 after the hour. Thanks for staying with me. My pleasure to continue to be with you. May the force, as they say, be with you. And somebody else who's a force is our good friend Brad Huisken. And he's not just a human being. He is a force out there in the marketplace, helping people make sure that when they walk up to a customer and say, "Hi, how you like me? I'm Brad. How you like me so far?" That they really do like him, and he helps you and me make sure that when we have salespeople to do that they are successful, and he's going to talk to us about it right now. Brad Huisken, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure to be back with you.
I'm a salesman, not a PhD. That's one of his books. Also, the other one is Munchies for Salespeople. Brad, we got a lot of folks unemployed. You think there are any salespeople unemployed out there?
I think there's a lot of them unemployed out there, and I think that now would be a time that anybody that's an entrepreneur that needs some sales staff might be a good time to go out there and look for some great people.
Is it time? You know, a lot of people, Brad, may not be needing to hire new people. I mean, the same reason that people are unemployed is the same reason why maybe I don't need a new person, an extra person, I should say, an additional salesperson. But is it time to retool?
Well, there's a couple of different schools of thought there, and one is that if you're paying commission and they're paid based on productivity, then they cost you nothing to bring them on board to increase your sales.
Well, but they might be costing you opportunity costs if they're calling on people and screwing up the opportunity.
They could be if you hire the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, is that if you hire the wrong person, boy, that's a huge
well, let's talk about that in a minute, but come back to the two schools of thought. One of them is
that now's the time to hire people because there's plenty of people out there. And the other school is that if you've got people that are not producing, then maybe it's time that we do a career adjustment and find them a career that's more suited for them.
Well, one of the things you have to realize, one of the things all managers and owners have to realize is you got people who aren't doing the job. Both people are being hurt by that.
That's exactly right.
Regardless of whether it's in sales or not, right? Because, I mean, everybody needs to find the thing that they're good and productive at. And if they're not being good and productive for you, then you need to help them go find that, don't you?
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, a classic example, yesterday my son was telling me that he was home for the day and he was watching some people next door, and there were some people from a tree trimming organization that came by for lunch at about 10:30 and took a nap and had their lunch and playing video games and chatting and carrying on for 3 hours. And he just thought, you know what, this is really killing this company, and he actually called the company, and I think he did him a great service by...
he ratted on him. He busted him, didn't he?
He did. He busted him. He said, that's the first time I've ever ratted somebody up. I was so mad at him. There's people out there that want to work and want to do a good job, and these guys have a job, and they're blowing it, so...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there are plenty of people out there who want to work, but for a small business owner, Brad, it's really laborious to go through the whole hiring process, isn't it?
Well, it is, and too often many of them just do desperation hiring, and they hire when they need a warm body, and that's when they compromise the quality of the person that we're going to hire, because we just hire the first person that comes along, so to speak. And I really think small businesses need to have consistent, ongoing, 24/7 recruiting effort going on.
What does that look like?
Well, it looks like, number one thing, they need to have a recruiting statement on the back of their business cards. Anytime they run into somebody that seems somewhat reasonable, that may have a worse life than they provide, you know, a waiter or waitress that's working till 2 o'clock every morning, that's bubbly and outgoing and refreshing, and, you know, wants to do a great job, then maybe you can give them your business card and say, geez, you know what, we should talk if you'd ever like to make a career move.
Well, and you know what, I even think you should do that just for the people, even if you don't need an opening. I've done this before. I've met people like you, exactly like you just said, and I've said, you know what? I know somebody who needs somebody like you. Can I tell them about you? And I put them together, and I still have, every year, some of them send me a note or a call or something. You know, it's been 20 years, and they say, hey, man, thanks for thinking of me way back then. And I just put them with somebody else. I mean, that's a good thing to do, too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The whole part of finding good people is networking and getting other people that are looking for high-quality people that you're looking for.
So you're saying we should always keep our eye out, even if, we're not hurting for anybody. Always keep your eye out for a new person, and always keep the hook out there, so to speak. When we come back, I want you to talk to us about that idea you have about what happens when you hire the wrong person. How to not do that. We're going to get Brad to help us with that coming up after the next break. IAStraining.com, right, Brad?
That's correct.
That's his website, IAStraining.com. That's where you can find his books. I'm a Salesman, Not a PhD, and Munchies for Salespeople. Stay with me, 22.
And you ain't had it.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved. Prohibited. All rights reserved. Prohibited.